today?
My name's Lionel. Lionel, I've known Tony for 4 years, since back in the college days. Now we're in uni, yeah.
And so today we're just going to be talking about, how we've met each other and our, experiences, with college, our culture, how we grew up, and just life in general. So yeah, let's start with how we met each other first. 4 years ago, was it? 2017?
Yeah, definitely 4 years ago.
So how was it then for you when you was in college at those times?
I thought I was pretty fresh to the country, pretty new, so it was great. But I think Zimbabwe being a country that was colonized by Britain, I feel like it was really reinforced that we learned English back home. So I think moving here, the integration was slightly easier because I could speak English decently, like I could speak English fluently, So it was great, but just moving on, I think it was learning more about the idiosyncrasies, the little things, the subtleties that the British people do, integrating with a lot more different cultures because Britain is very diverse.
Yeah.
So acquainting yourself with some of the Portuguese traditions, learning bits and bobs of other people's languages, I think that's what it was like, But I think I really enjoyed my integration phase. I'm still integrating to this very day. There's always that one time someone says a slang word you don't know, then you're like, what, then you quickly check Urban Dictionary. But I think that's how life is anyway.
Yeah. So in terms of the transitions from having that grounded language of being able to speak English. And what was your other language again?
Shona.
So Shona. So have you always been able to speak Shona since little, or
yeah, definitely. Because I was born in Zimbabwe. Shona is the staple. Yeah, you have to speak Shona. Because most people, more often than not, will speak Shona than English. Most people know English back home, but Shona is our go-to language. But I feel like you only ever truly appreciate the value of your mother country when you leave it. So when I'm here, when I meet someone who does speak Shona fluently, I really enjoy it, because I feel like I'm then re-immersed into that same vibe I had when I was back home, Yeah.
That's decent. So obviously you're moving to the UK now, you're trying to get on your feet. So how are you dealing with your environment?
Whew. What's that?
You're trying to get, so basically what I was trying to say is just you're coming from Zimbabwe to UK and you're trying to deal with your environment, your feet, you're new, you're trying to get used to everything,
Yeah.
So how was that for you?
I don't know. I think I'll reiterate and say, I think the integration phase was really nice. I think the hardest thing probably is because you have to relearn the climate. That's a big one. Because back home, if it looks like this, I have to press up like this.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like this, I have to press up like this. But here it's a case where sometimes it's sunny, then you live without a jumper or umbrella. Then you end up having to buy a jumper in town or an umbrella on the day because it's just the weather's just that aggressive at times. The weather's just sharp. It just turns. So I think definitely the climate was something that I had to climatize to. But then in terms of routine fitness and that, I struggled to build routines early on because I didn't really feel like there was that supportive culture. But then I then realized later on you have to build your own support pillars, your own culture. If you don't do your own note taking, if you don't write your own journals, if you're not tracking your progress, no one's gonna do it for you. But I also think because I came at the age of 17 here, so I do feel like I came with a lot of the customs and the culture I learned home, then I brought that here. So in that sense, coming at 17, I feel like I've known so much about Zimbabwe, and then I'm having to relearn a lot of the English culture at a later age. For people who come younger, at 12, 13, 14, I feel they have a lot more time to learn the English culture rather than someone who's coming later on, 17, 18. But then again, I think it's fun, the challenge is definitely worthwhile. Because I can say out of every 100 people you meet, there's always that one or two, but everyone else is great,
So yeah, let's fast forward to college, when we first encountered each other. What was that like for you, when you first, stepped to college?
College is a bit crazy, because all of a sudden you don't have to wear any uniforms when you're going in. You think that wearing your own clothes is quite easy, but it actually gets really, really challenging. I can understand why Barack Obama and all the other greats, you know, they simplified their wardrobe, you know, because right now when I'm going to uni, I have to think what I'm wearing. Do the colors match? What kind of shoes am I wearing? You know, so like the socks I'm wearing, do they match with the outfit? You know, like it's just things where like it was that period where I was like, wow, I didn't expect this. Not that early, but then you learn that. Then after that, sometimes people like speak with a different accent. So you have Welsh people and Scottish people, and then they speak. You're like, what are they saying? You know, what are they saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I can't get it. So see, like, I beg your pardon, yeah. So it's always embarrassing saying I beg your pardon, like for them to repeat the third time, you know. But then what I started realizing is that your brain, when your brain doesn't comprehend something, or when it's not familiar with a certain tonality, it needs a bit more time to process. So what I started doing instead is like when someone say something in an accent I didn't understand, I would delay for a bit and say I beg your pardon. So that was just maximizing the amount of time I gave my brain to actually try and understand. Then when I started employing that strategy, like I started understanding a lot more of the stuff. But then over time, like I feel like you start building that little library of accents, you start building that vocabulary, you know, and then over time, like it becomes second nature. So right now, unless someone is a really, really deep accent, then maybe I might not hear them. But like anyway, it's after 5 years, you know, so like I like to think I'm more than partially integrated, like I'm fully integrated, but like, yeah, but I think so language barrier definitely a challenge, climate. College was great, they treat you like an adult, so I definitely enjoy that. I met some real friends, but one of the things I really did when I came in was I say to myself, I'd rather play alone or play with 1 or 2 people rather than play with 10, 12 people where you know they're not reliable or you're gonna introduce toxicity into your life. So I was like, I'd rather have that 1 or 2 friends, and that really worked out well for me, you know. So I think college went well for me.
Yeah, that's good. So like talking of college and the type of people you said, like, so what were the type of people you said you keep to your circle? You said 1 or 2 friends. What were the type of people? What influenced you in your life?
I don't know. At first, like when I moved to the country, at first I was hell bent on people being religious, right? That was like a prerequisite for me. But it didn't take me time to learn that like anyone who say they're religious, and like religion, and especially here, did not make up for anything. Like a person could say I'm religious, and the next day you could see them doing something completely different, and you're like, that is something questionable. So then immediately I took religion off the list. So then I started like seeking people who are more spiritual in the sense that like people who meditate on their lives, like they actually take the time to think over their decisions. They do retrospective analysis. Retrospective meaning they're looking back in hindsight, you know. So like looking for those people doing retrospective analysis of their lives, people who actually took the time to speak to people, assessing how someone spoke to people beneath them. So let's say if it was someone 1 year older than the person, like looking at how they talk to that person, definitely the language someone used, because I don't swear, like I don't say that as a prideful thing, but like generally I don't tolerate swearing in my vocabulary. So like I just try to disassociate myself from people who had a lot of heavy swearing, because the one thing you learn about life is you become what you constantly consume. Right? 100%. So what I realized is that anyone who was toxic, swore too much, insulting, or promoted like negative content, you know, like I was just like away. So I started seeking spiritual people who reflected, people who listened, people who were kind, people who say hi to you, people who spontaneously text you. Like people who actually think of you when you're not there. Those are the people I seek out. People who are looking to build their lives. You know, that general kind of person. Yeah.
So do you see these type of people like in the uni environment and the university environment?
What I would say is that university is a lot different, you know, in the sense that like, not too different, but university is basically like college multiplied by what? By 10, by 12? You know, it's just larger numbers, you know. So what happens is, in college, if you found one good person out of every 20 people, you'd assume that in uni you'd find one person out of 20 people, right? But uni is a lot different in the sense that you will find that one person out of every maybe 50 or 100 people you speak to. That's when you find that one person, you know? Like, I really found it challenging, because I expected when I came to university, I was hanging around with the people who were like really deep into investing, or deep into like people who had a speaking panel, the debate club and all that. But like when I came, like there was a real shortage of that intellectual curiosity I was looking for. Like I was really intellectually, I was curious to make myself smarter and grow myself, but like I didn't really quench that intellectual thirst in uni. Like I struggled with that. So to be honest, like I didn't find a lot of that people. But then I did find about 5 solid people, you know, like I can really like say like if I crashed right now or was in another accident, like these people would be there and visit me in the hospital, and I have them to this very day.
That's really good. That's really good. So like I just saying that, so the type of people, you know, you involve yourself in is like, are they the type of people that will help you, you know, build on the skill? Like let's say, you know, you're doing volleyball or ping pong, so you want to be associated with people that are doing something that's going to benefit you, basically.
Yeah, definitely. But the one thing I then learned is that because someone says they're motivated, and because someone is motivated, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to employ the same moralistic behavior. They're not going to have the same morals or the same principles when they attack that goal. So for example, like, let's say you're within marriage age, you're 27, 28, and you're ready to marry, and then you see the most beautiful woman you've ever seen walking past, right? You might be like, you know what, I'm gonna be a gentleman and treat that lady as a gentleman, you know? And I can be like, when I see the same woman, right, I might be like, you know what, I'm gonna like just do like a quick one, you know, like I'm just gonna do it in a quick rushed way and not take my time. Maybe she might say yes to me, but then I'm gonna start talking to someone else as well. Just see, whilst you are being faithful and coming all in her, like actually taking your time to nurture that relationship between you and her, I might just be like, you know what, let's just see how it goes. Like, I don't really care. I might even be toxic about the whole interaction I have with her. But I want the same thing as you. I want that girl, you want that girl, but like the way you're trying to do it is a healthy way. The way I'm trying to do it is not a good way. So you could see like we have the same goal, but then the morals we are using and the principles we're using to tackle the same goal are very different. So that's one thing I also learned through my journey moving to the UK. Like a lot of people will have the same goals as you, but they will not necessarily want to take the straight route or the nice route. Like some people will take the shortcut basically.
Yeah, so because I feel like the shortcut, it doesn't work. So it's like they have to be, so when the shortcut doesn't work, they're going to be irritated with themselves, then they're going to keep on putting themselves in a cycle until they're going to try and break out of that, you know, that cycle and be like, yo, listen, let me actually just do this the right way by being disciplined and consistent with, you know, what I had before me.
Yeah, but you see, the dangerous thing now is that sometimes the shortcut works. That's the dangerous thing. Because when the shortcut works, someone becomes like hell-bent and they're like, it worked. So definitely, I'm gonna try and short every single thing I do in my life. And then when you stop putting in effort in the other aspects of your life, where one time you didn't put much effort and it worked, like that becomes like, that inspires you, you know, to be a person who puts in less effort, you know. So like when the shortcut works one time, that's when it truly becomes like bad, you know. That's why you want to stay away from people who are like doing things in a dodgy way. Because if they do it in a dodgy way once and it works, why should they take the straight road? Let's say for example someone is doing like credit card fraud, right? And they're hacking it. Maybe 5 years, 10 years they're going, you know, and they never get caught. You know, they get old and they're not doing credit card fraud anymore, but they didn't do it when they didn't get caught when they're young. Like, what happens? Nothing happens to them. The consequences, they didn't face any consequences. But now that they're older, yeah, they might be doing some fraud on a lower scale or higher scale, you know, but that could open them up to like arrest, you know, at an old age. They might not be doing the same credit card fraud, but definitely because they understood that the credit fraud happened and they got away with it, they will try to use the same tactics when they grow, maybe in a different scenario, different environment, you know, but then that will be built into their personality because it worked that one time. So that's why you want to try that's why I personally want to try and stay away from those people, because if it works for them, they're going to appeal to me. If they can't appeal to my conscious mind, they will appeal to my subconscious mind by feeding me indirect material, trying to like promote this kind of the same stuff, you know. Yeah, but that's it, yeah.
So do you feel like, obviously in university, a lot of people are kind of like drawn into that type of, you know, behavior?
I think definitely, when you look, the population is massive, like right now. So with a massive population like this, like everyone wants the shortest route to attain their goal, you know? So I do think, like, let's say for example, a university class maybe back in the day would have been what, maybe 50 to 100 students. But now a university class is what, 200 to 300 students. Like for computing, basically we have 300 students, right? So it depends. If you're applying to jobs in Birmingham, they have like 3 universities in Birmingham. So just multiply, that's 1,000 students being released into the general population for computer science jobs, right? So a lot of people are gonna try to take the shortest route to get a job because there are a lot more people, right? But then there are also other people who are gonna try to take the hardest route as well because there are a lot more people. They're gonna have to work harder, you know. But because there are a lot more people, everyone is gonna try and want everything quick. Basically, that's what I don't know. Maybe that's a bit metaphor, but like I hope you get the sense, you know.
Talking of which, so let's get into, you know, the social life in university for you. How was like the social life been for you?
Social life has been great, but you see, like I mentioned before, I'm not a person who was really eager to associate with a lot of people because I have to associate with a lot of people. I'm the kind of person where I'll be very careful who I associate with, you know. So like, I wasn't really sure like about clubbing because personally, like aside religion, clubbing to me doesn't really. I'm not really like compelled to go clubbing. I don't find it enticing, you know. Like I know people say like let's go drinking, there's dancing, you know. There's the other obvious aspect of it as well. But then that stuff doesn't necessarily appeal to me. Oh, it does appeal to me, but like it doesn't appeal to me in such a state where I feel like I actually have to go clubbing. So when that happens, I'm like, okay, clubbing no. I don't drink, I don't smoke. So at the end of the day, like I end up like chilling with my friends. Maybe once in a while, you're visiting the pub, going to watch a football game. That I do. Or socializing with people, do. Inviting people to play FIFA. That we do. Making coffee. Because I recently got an expensive coffee machine, you know, so I've been trying to like be a proper barista without going to the coffee shop, you know, taking the shortcut, yeah. But like that I do, you know. So like I then figured out like conventional social fun is not for me, you know. So since I understood that, I've been trying to define my own level of fun, level of excitement, level of enjoyment, you know. I'm self-describing or self-defining my leisure activities. That's what I'm trying to do, you know.
So like, obviously, have you ever been clubbing?
I did go clubbing once, you know.
How was the experience?
It was great, man. There was definitely a point where my blood was rushing because I was in very, very close proximity to the opposite sex, right?
Okay.
Like, well, it was at that moment I realized, like, because also this religion, you know. So I didn't want to feel guilty. So when that came up, like, I was like, you know what? This to the non-religious, if I wasn't religious and I hadn't defined the principles I would have definitely like enjoyed clubbing and enjoyed that moment. But because I have these things that are guiding me, these things I've written down in my journal, and I'm trying to practice every single day, because that's deeply ingrained within me. Like, I don't know, I tried my best to let that moment pass as fast as it could. I avoided the future moments, and I'm not going clubbing anymore, you know? Just because, like, I have those things that are guiding me. You know, some people might say holding you back, but, like, I definitely feel like writing down your principles, writing down what you're not willing to do, that discipline makes you a better person. It's like a calendar, for example. Some people might say a calendar is like a prison, it's holding you back. But I personally feel a calendar is actually showing you what free time you have, what time you have to do what. I feel like at the end of the day, it's actually creating more freedom because it's creating more structure. Structure relieves stress.
Because going back onto what you said about, you know, how you said, the clubbing for me, like for one person, for a man to have that discipline and say that's not for me, to like, you know, reject from the opposite sex, that is really powerful. And I feel like you saying that, yeah, has put a lot of light to, you know, to people that are trying, like, to younger guys our age, to younger guys that are a bit younger than us, to, you know, try and see the light, that there's more to this, instead of like, yo, you can't always be doing this. So it's just like, you could be that light to just show, you know, young ones and be like, yo, listen, like, set a task, set a routine, write notes like you said, and just like, you know, improves on the discipline.
Yeah, definitely. Because definitely, I feel like if you're a person who doesn't go clubbing, you quickly get labeled by people. People are like, they say these words, you know. Sometimes they say them as jokes, like, you're this type of person, you're not into women for a man, you know. They say like, you're not into women, you know, you're not straight, and all this stuff. But I feel like you don't have to go clubbing to prove that, like, you like women, you know. I feel like if you like women, you know you like women. I feel when you come to university, it's a time to find more about yourself, and it's a time to truly, like, get down, you know, get a journal. Honestly, I really think getting a journal is good. Get a journal and
get a journal, guys, get a journal.
I feel like it's the time to get a journal and start writing. Because I don't know if you listen to Jordan Peterson. There's this professor called Jordan Peterson, and he's become recently famous on YouTube, like, and I really love the way he speaks. Like, everything he says appeals to me personally. You know, it's not that I practice everything, but everything he says, like, definitely adds value to my life. But he's like, if you want to learn more about yourself, right, you know, if you want to learn more about the world, read, you know. So definitely reading and writing helps. So like what I was saying is, like, you don't have to prove that you like women by going to the club, you know. You're taking the time to meditate and asking yourself, do I like women? That's enough, you know, to justify whether you like women or not.
Because it's like the things you do, you manifest that in your mind, and you don't have to go out chasing. So when you're good with yourself, let's say, you know, me, I go to the gym, I meditate, I write notes down, I read my books. Like, that's all I need to do. I don't need to go out my way messaging, you know, different, like, hundreds of girls just to prove a point, saying, yo, I'm this, I'm that. It's just like, what you seek, you will attract. And if you're good to yourself, you're aligned with that thing, and it'll come to you.
Yeah, you know? Definitely. Because the worrisome thing is we've definitely become, I don't know, this is the part of the podcast people might hate on, yeah? But I definitely feel like we've come sort of like an extreme beat and delete society, yeah? Where, like, you find someone you fancy, you do something together, if you want to say something, I mean like sexual intercourse, and then you drop each other, right? But what I personally feel like, or what happens from that is, as exciting as it is, you know, like, if someone gets together with maybe 5 to 10 partners before they enter marriage, she's definitely going to have an affinity for a certain character. Like, let's say, for example, she's with 10 people, there definitely maybe 2 or 3 people, she's going to be like, I like the intercourse we had with this type of people, you know? And then from that, when she eventually gets married, whoever she gets married to, maybe they don't have sex before they get married, but because she's engaged in certain ways, she might not like to stick with the one person she is, because she's tasted different flavors, you know what I mean? Like, it's like with ice cream, if you're born tasting vanilla all the time, you like vanilla, but once you start finding out the strawberry, it's chocolate, you don't like it. It's a lot different, yeah? But this is not just women as well. Men have a big issue, because men are usually the ones doing most of the dropping and deleting, you know? Because men are really good at saying words, because there's this guy who once said, like, men are attracted, I think it's a TikTok dude anyway. He said, like, men are attracted by what they see, and women are attracted by the words they hear. And men are really good at spinning words, you know what I mean? Like, so I really feel like men have this toxicity in them, this alpha male, where they feel like having a higher body count should be associated with being a better man, you know? But I actually think the reverse is more true. I'm not saying that if you've never had it before, you're a way better person, but I'm definitely saying, like, this big beat and delete, like, I only feel it's going to, like, actually make the divorce rate, like, keep going up, like way up. It's going to become steeper and steeper, because, like, we are just the society where we're beating and deleting, we're lying, we're cheating, we're abusing trust, you know, we're abusing kindness. So that's why I stand anyway.
That's true. So, like, in terms of, you know, all of that, has, like, any type of woman try to come to your life in that sort of way, or?
I don't know. I feel like everyone throughout their life definitely has a few people who show interest. You know, like I remember even before I moved to uni, I had a few encounters where people really showed genuine interest. You know, but like the thing I say to myself is, anyway, I'm being guided by what I once had. I once had like someone said, you should have a standard that if you're not ready to marry, you shouldn't date, right? Because the ultimate goal at the end of the day is when you find the right person for you, you want to have them for the rest of your life. That's, to me personally, that's the whole point of dating. Because if you date, you're trying to like find someone who has a compatible relationship with you in the sense that you'll be able to actually have something better together. Like you by yourself should be independent. Your girlfriend should be independent. But when you're together, your independence should join together to make something better. Mm-hmm. So when one person becomes more dependent, you know, on the other person, then that's when it becomes a bit wonky, right? But I truly feel until I'm ready to date, until I'm independent to such a state where I'm perfectly capable of being alone, perfectly capable of generating my own entertainment alone, then do I feel I deserve to then go out in the world and start finding someone, some other woman, you know, someone else, another partner, another suitable partner who's perfectly capable of generating her own entertainment. Then do I feel like I'm in a perfect position to then go and find that person
and build something.
Because then if I then find that person and I'm like, this is great, you know, maybe we test it over. When we're dating, we're testing something. We date for 1-2 years, we're testing it. It works, maybe 3 years, yeah. Then I'm ready to engage and go. But like if I'm, for example, 18, then I find the right person. And I know that in my mind I want to marry when I'm 26, 27, you know? For me personally, I want to marry when I'm 20, 29. But like, let's say I want to marry 26, 27. That's like what, maybe 7, 8 years. Can I truly sustain a relationship for 7, 8 years, you know, before I'm ready to then get married? You know, that's why it's a bit long for me. So I feel like holding back is the better. So back to your question, yes, there are people who've shown an interest, but to me, because I've always been like, I need to wait until I'm closer to my marrying age, because then I can take these relationships a lot more serious. I've held back, you know. There are definitely people I fancied as well, but I've tried to hold back because I'm like, I'm not going to generate any fruit that's worthwhile eating because I'm not ready yet, you know. There's no need to sow seeds. Because the problem is, if I then engage and tangle those people, that's when it becomes a lot dangerous, because there's a lot of like teenage pregnancies happening as well. Like you can catch an STI, you know, there's a lot of stuff, you know, so you just want to try and keep your distance. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to impose my principles on the world. I'm just trying to explain my side, the way I'm attacking life, yeah.
And it's really good, you know, to how you explain your view, because everyone's got different opinions on certain things. But it's one that has to, you know, differentiate, you know, the most common denominator, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. Do you have any other questions?
Whew, do I have any questions? I don't know, man. I'd simply say, like, everyone is attacking life at a different angle. Like, there is no manual to life. You know, that's the most. That's the most terrible thing, right? There is no guide. You know, I wish there was a guide that said, if you follow A, B, C, D, E, F, G, yeah, you would make a successful life, yeah. Or maybe if someone said, if you know the whole English alphabet and the number systems, you know, complex math, you know, basically like, I'm trying to illustrate, like, if you go primary school, then you go high school, then you go university, like your life is set. I wish that was the case, you know, but that is not the case, you know, because one day you wake up, you have your whole life planned, you have 10 years of your life planned out, but then what happens is life throws a really curvy curveball to you, yeah, like life punts the ball, you know, like when you shoot a run ball, that when you punt it in the air, when it bounces, you never know what direction it's gonna go. That's what life does sometimes. It just kicks you up in the air, then you just land it randomly. Like that's the thing about life. It's filled with so much randomness, where what you think is gonna happen might not happen. It might happen. You know, that's the thing. So sometimes I feel like when some people stray down a wrong path, we should be more supportive, more encouraging, because those people might not have the same support pillars or the same parents or the same encouragement that we had, you know?
Yeah.
Like I read How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. He said, we owe everything we have to the environment, you know? The people you have, the facilities you had, encouragement, the people who fed your curiosity, you know, we owe everything we have to them, because without those people we wouldn't have. Like, take a kid struggling in poverty in Africa right now, put them in a first world country like this. They might not make it necessarily, but given the same opportunity, they'll probably turn out the way I am, or they'll turn out way better, you know? They could be the next millionaire, the next billionaire, you know? They could struggle worse than the world, you know? Or take a kid struggling with poverty in Asia, you know? Because poverty is not just Africa, poverty is in Asia, poverty is in Europe, poverty is in Africa, poverty is everywhere, you know? Even here, like, we don't speak about it, but like, there are things that, where you're like, you know what? This definitely resembles some sort of poverty, you know? And sometimes poverty is just like not being, you know, just having people, because poverty is not just food as well. Like, if you have a poverty of thinking, a poverty of not being able to formulate your own thoughts, like what you have right now in a society where our thoughts are being drowned in toxic 6-second videos all the time, you know, like, you know, like we don't think our own thoughts as well. Like, that's poverty of thought as well, and that's dangerous, even way more dangerous. But like, sometimes I just feel like we should try to put more kindness, and we should try and introduce more kindness into the world. When you feel like something is nice, when you genuinely feel something is nice, don't hold it back. Compliment that person, because they took the time to actually do what they did, you know. Encourage people to be themselves, you know. You know, if you tell someone they're beautiful when they wear makeup, and you never tell them they're beautiful when they're never wearing makeup, on a subconscious level, right, that person is going to be like, okay, I like it. Because you know what happens when you get a compliment or when you get like, you get that dopamine urge, you know? So when that dopamine is released when someone is wearing makeup, and that dopamine is never released when someone is natural, you know, subconsciously, that person will want to wear makeup, you know, because makeup is getting the compliments, you know. So like, compliment people when they know wearing makeup. You truly feel something's beautiful, beautiful. Or what, you know what, you're running, that was a really nice run, you know. Like, just breathe positivity into the world. That's what we need, you know.
Sure, man. You gotta show love, can't show any hatred. If you're showing love, you can't, like, if you're showing love to someone and have hatred, still show love to them. Because like, there's a thing where like, if they give you bad energy, like, if it's negative or positive energy, just take it out it is and just change it to positivity. I feel that's a lot of people that I struggle with. So, yeah, man. Should we wrap up with it, yeah? Yeah, man. So, yeah, make sure you guys like and subscribe. We've seen more content than this. And, yeah, hope you guys have a good day.